This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You are watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
Now, as many of you know, I've been a big supporter of Eddie Hearn and his Matchroom product for quite some time. I think that what they've done for British boxing, putting British boxing on the map, is sensational. And those who hate on what it is that Eddie Hearn and that has done, for me, I think a lot of these people are just still stuck in the dark ages, where they probably feel quite at home watching the BT Sport boxing product with Frank Warren, where it seems like it's 10 years out of date. But I appreciate what it is that Eddie Hearn and Matchroom's done. But I have noticed lately, and I know many of you have noticed it too, due to the amount of comments I get here on YouTube and social media, which is where people are saying things along the lines of, is the fire starting to diminish when it comes to Matchroom? Is the light starting to dim? Are they on a sinking ship when it comes to what it is that they're doing now, since they've gone exclusive with DAZN? Because we don't really hear too much about what fight nights they have coming up. You don't see it advertised. You don't hear about it. Because for me, I've never really been one to go onto a boxing schedule website or anything like that. When I hear a fight night is announced, I tend to just retain that information. I know when it is, I know where it is, I know who the headliner is, and I know a couple of the undercard fighters on it. And I just tend to retain that information because I can tell you what shows MTK and that have coming up, including one of them with Phil Jeffries, a collaboration. I can tell you what Dennis Hobson shows are coming up. Mick Hennessy, whenever he has a fight night coming up. Sky Sports Boxing, Ben Shalom, I can tell you their entire schedule, including most of the undercard fights. I can look across the pond and look at the PBC. I could tell you pretty much their schedule and some of the top rank as well. And for the first time today is when really reality hit me, was when I realised I didn't know what fight nights Matchroom had coming up. I genuinely didn't know, which is very, very out of character for me. I actually had to go looking for it. So I went to their website, and if I remember rightly, between now and the end of the year, they've got 6 fight nights coming up. And the only one that I knew about was Parker Chisora 2. Even now, I couldn't tell you what the undercard is. But I couldn't tell you what the rest of the fight nights are. I didn't know that they had a fight coming up, or a fight night coming up in Sheffield. I didn't know. Again, that's very, very unusual for me. And it's not like anything's changed, not at all, because I'm still subscribed to Matchroom on YouTube and DAZN on YouTube. I still follow on social media Eddie Hearn, Matchroom and DAZN. I still follow them. So nothing's changed at all. But I'm seeing things pop up all the time about Boxer, Sky Sports. I've seen today that Natasha Jonas has now signed a multi-fight deal with Sky Sports and Boxer. I see these kind of things pop up, but I'm not seeing much when it comes to Matchroom. And I don't know why that is. Maybe it is a case of that their product is still in a transitional period since they've gone exclusive with DAZN. It could genuinely be that. It could be. Now, it does also appear that we're not seeing too many interviews with Eddie Hearn now. Of course, now he's the head honcho of Matchroom ever since his dad has taken a step back now. Maybe he doesn't really have the time in that anymore. Whereas before, say, lockdown, nearly every other day, he was doing several interviews now all the time, and with myself included. Then something just happened, and I know he seemed to get the ump with me over some reason. I still don't know what it is. And to be honest with you, I know it's never really affected me in the sense of I've always just cared about, well, what shows are you giving us? Who's the headliner? What's the undercard? That's always been my thing. But I've noticed since we've come out of lockdown, their product does seem to be a little bit diluted. The spark, the fire, the energy seems to be diminished. And I've got DAZN. I've had DAZN ever since the first day that it was available here in the UK. I clicked that button and I pay for it monthly. Of course, with the price increased now to $7.99 per month, I still have it. I think I've used it 3 times. And a lot of it is because I just forgot that they actually have boxing on certain nights. I genuinely forgot. Maybe that a bit of a buzz around it has seemed to have fallen with some of the home fighters losing. Again, I feel bad for Eddie Hearn because he can never win either way. If he's having all his home fighters winning all the time, People say, oh, well, that's poor matchmaking. Home fight, guaranteed win, predictable results. Then he feeds them somebody who is a stiff test for them, and if the home fighter loses, oh, well, you overmatched him. Again, poor matchmaking. He can never get it right. So I do feel bad for him in that kind of way. Of course, Joshua losing, that hasn't helped. The Dillian Whyte-Otto Wallin fight, which of course didn't happen, that hasn't helped. I mean, even that whole event, right up to when Dillian Whyte and Otto Wallin got cancelled, was it between 11 and 12,000 tickets were sold. Then when that fight was cancelled, only 6,000 people were in the arena, or just over 6,000. So that means that around about half the people wanted their money back. They got refunds. And it's worrying when you got a prospect, a 3-0 prospect like Johnny Fisher, who is pretty much the biggest attraction on that card as far as ticket sellers are concerned. That he had his fight, and then when his fight finished, apparently, so I'm hearing from a couple of people who were there at the night, half the audience went home. Didn't stay for the main event, which really upset me because I'm a huge fan of Chantel Cameron. I think she's a fantastic fighter. When you talk about pound for pound women fighters, you need to be talking about Chantel Cameron. And that was a very good performance. Very good performance by Chantel Cameron. So why would you want to walk out and not watch the main event? Of course, you had other home fighters losing, like Ted Cheeseman. He lost his British title to a Frank Warren fighter in Troy Williamson. That didn't help. Of course not. And I love Ted Cheeseman. Liam Smith defeated what we can call a prospect. Yeah, he's 30 years old, but he's a prospect in Anthony Fowler. And he can bet your bottom dollar that he wanted, as in Eddie Hearn, he wanted Fowler to win because he saw Anthony Fowler as the future headliner, the one to be the poster boy for Liverpool. Get him up there into bigger fights, world title fights. Liam Smith on the slide. Proved out to be not that case, didn't it? Josh Warrington losing as well. And of course the rematch with the fight getting stopped early and things like that. So all these things have hurt his product. The fact that we don't see any kind of advertisements with them. That we don't know. The fact that we actually have to go looking to see what fight nights are on. Much like with Frank Warren shows. You don't really know that they're on unless you actually go looking for them. Occasionally you may get a pop-up on social media. But with Matchroom, I don't know, is it a case of Eddie Hearn has got above himself? Is it now it's a case of he looks at everybody like, I have no competition, foot is off the gas? Much like Frank Warren did, 10, 15 years ago? He pretty much had the monopoly on British boxing, took his foot off the gas, British boxing was dying. Eddie Hearn came along, young, fresh, energetic. It was very easy for him to take over the top position, wasn't it, as the top promoter in the UK? Did he get arrogant? Does he think that he doesn't need anybody now? Has his matchmaker changed? Who knows what's going on, but I've certainly noticed it, and I hope that Eddie Hearn recognises a lot of the things. Hopefully he takes certain things as constructive criticism, not haters' criticism, which once upon a time he used to love that kind of thing. Nowadays, I don't think he really does. But when you really look at it, his product seems to be very, very diluted now. I mean, considering he's getting much more money now, as in he's getting a bigger budget to spend on shows and whatever else, where's the budget going? Because the quality of the fights not really improving. When you're having someone like a Conor Benn being forced down your throat, as he's the headliner, he's going to be the next / pay-per-view star. I say / because obviously he's on DAZN. A lot of people still don't view Conor Benn as a headliner, let alone that kind of superstar. They don't see him like that. I'm a big fan of Conor Benn. I really am. I support him. I really do. But is he a headliner? I don't think so. When you're getting like Shannon Courtney pushed down your throat, she's not a popular person, Eddie. I don't know why you can't see it. People don't like her. People don't like her attitude. But yet you can't seem to see it. And, I mean, I can go around the houses with some of the examples. But I don't know what it is. Is it a case of he's just concentrating on trying to sign up the GB Olympians? Is that what it is? Some of it's been quite cringy. I've seen it on TV with him, like having them sat next to him at ringside for like a fight or two and things like that, and it's quite cringy, some of it. But ultimately, I mean, I understand he's trying to persuade them to join his stable. But again, why would some of these boxers who have heard Eddie Hearn's previous comments quite recently, such as Huey Fury leaving them to go with Sky Sports boxer Lewis Ritson and that as well, where Eddie Hearn said, well, to be honest, I didn't really have fights for them anyway. Well, you know, I didn't really have room for them anyway. Well, if you don't have room, then why would another fighter who's not signed with you want to sign with you? And clearly you don't have enough room. You don't have enough room, but yet you're not putting on a whole plethora of shows. People here in the UK and that are not bothered by the Italian shows, by the Spanish shows. People are just not that interested. That's the impression I'm getting. As of right now, I don't really see, from all the YouTube or the YouTube channels that I am subscribed to, I don't think I've seen yet anybody doing a review on the Italian or Spanish shows yet. I haven't seen it. Something's happening. Something's definitely going amiss. And it does appear that Ben Shalom, boxer and Sky Sports, they seem to be gaining momentum now. A lot of people were quite critical of their product to start with, where they're going to go. All the fighters were over at Matchroom. But now they're pulling out moves. There's today signed Natasha Jonas. Again, that's going to be a bit of a kick in for Eddie Hearn, because Eddie Hearn, he wanted the monopoly on women's boxers. But now with Savannah Marshall being over there at Boxer, with Clarissa Shields, now Natasha Jonas, with GB stars like Georgia O'Connor, April Hunter, with quite a few others, okay, where they've all shifted over to Sky Sports. They have. But as I said before, I think Chantel Cameron needs a lot more profile. I think that she needs a lot more headline. I think she's absolutely amazing. Katie Taylor, I've always been a massive fan of Katie Taylor, but she appears to be on the slide. I really don't know. I really don't know what... Generally, I'm stuck for words. I don't know what the answer is. I wish I could just give and just say, hey, Eddie, you need to be doing this, mate. But there's nothing there is that I can say, because for me, I think that something is not firing on all cylinders. Their production don't look as good anymore. It doesn't look as sharp anymore. I know Eddie Hearn saying that one of the reasons why he left Sky Sports to go over to DAZN outside of the money is because he was given freedom when it comes to the production team, of the presenters, the analysts, how it looks on TV and all that kind of stuff. You know, the fireworks and the extravaganza. It don't look that good. It genuinely doesn't. The shining light for me with all of these is Chris Lloyd. I think Chris Lloyd is absolutely amazing. But that's pretty much where it starts and stops. I don't know who some of these other presenters and that are. They don't seem to be doing the job. Granted, it's still early days. They're still finding their feet. And who knows, maybe they'll become really good at their job. Maybe it's just a case of we need a bit of time to get used to it. The total change. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But something don't feel right. It really don't feel right. At fight camp, it felt okay because it was fresh, it was new. Now it's like nobody has any enthusiasm over there anymore. Everyone just seems like either they're scripting or they're just not bothered by anything. Everything just seems to be negative. There's no enthusiasm anymore. It needs a Johnny Nelson. That's what it needs. But anyway, listen, that's my thoughts. You drop me yours. Click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you on the next video.